Hi, welcome back to the garden. It's late February and it feels like a really good time to prune back my clematis. I have a bunch of them. This is the biggest one by far. I'll show you pictures of what it looks like in the summer. It's like spectacular. The bees and the hummingbirds love it. And I can tell it's a good time to prune it because the buds are really swelling and it looks like it's getting ready to like leaf out pretty soon. So this one is a group 3 clematis. There's 3 main groups and they're kind of divided based on when you prune them. So I'll show you this one, which is a group 3, and then I'll show you my group 2 and what I would do for that one. So for group 3 clematis, basically you cut them back almost to the ground, and you can leave like a few sets of buds or joins, like where the plant elbows are. It's where the leaves come out, and in this case you can see like all the new buds like all along. And the reason I would do that for this type of clematis is because if I cut it back hard, it's going to shoot out a bunch of new growth. So like all this growth up to the top, like this one here, and it's kind of buckled over. It was like more upright. It fills in this whole top section. So all that happens in 1 year. So if I weren't to cut it back, it would leaf out and it would put shoots, but it would have this kind of ugly structure. And what can happen if you don't do that for a few years is the buds that are higher up are more dominant, so those ones will keep filling in, and then the ones underneath will kind of be like starved, and so it will kind of be bald at the bottom basically. So I'm just gonna come in here and cut. Like I don't necessarily have to count, but like if I want to count 1, maybe 2 junctions, and then I can cut right above that. If I see that there's like a super like vigorous looking bud, I might choose to leave that, but generally it's like pretty straightforward. And these ones are really forgiving. So even if you feel like you've like cut it wrong, I think there's like a very good chance that the plant itself will bounce back pretty quickly. And like 1 year, the year that we moved in actually, I didn't prune it until May, just because there was like so much going on and I didn't get around to it, and it still bounced back and had like a really good season after. Okay, so for pruning clematis, I like to work from the bottom. So now that I've cut all the stems to, you know, about a foot or 2, I know that all the top can just come out. And I can do this without worrying that I'm like pulling one out from the ground or something. I totally missed one and it got a little bit skinned, but I think this one will be okay too. So it's always amazing to me that this all comes from 1 year. So basically from when it leaves out, maybe in March at some point, it'll grow. In about 2 months, it will be to the top of the trellis, and then it starts to bloom in June, and then it will just stay blooming basically till like September, October. It's like a really long-lasting plant. So I'm gonna take this out of the way, and then I'll take you over to the next clematis, which is slightly different. So I didn't plant this clematis, so I don't know for sure, but I think it's a group 2 clematis. And the reason I think that is that it blooms earlier than the other one, so it'll bloom kind of end of April time for the first flush. And the other thing is that the flowers are more elaborate and kind of bigger. So I've pruned this differently the past 2 years. The first year, I didn't prune it because I wasn't sure what type it was. And the first flush of flowers were like super big and full, and they were like full doubles. And then last year, I was like, okay, I want to cut it back because it was kind of like scraggly and like, I don't know, it didn't look great, worse than this. So I cut it back hard. It bloomed a little later, and it didn't have double flowers. They were kind of simpler. So I think with group 2, whenever I've grown them in the past, the first flush will have like kind of bigger flowers, then you can trim them a little bit, and then they'll have a second flush. Like for me, it was kind of like May, July, September, roughly, were the 3 flushes. However, this is in a really hot spot. It faces exactly south, and it's really hot up against the house. So this one seems to just have the first flush, and then it kind of goes dormant. I think it gets too much for it. So it still has leaves and stuff, but it's kind of just like stops growing. So that kind of added to the confusion. So basically for this one, it depends on this condition that it is. As you can see, this one has like really strong buds. And they seem to go pretty much all the way up. So I can kind of cut like above where the growth seems to be kind of dead and nothing's coming out of it. But that's more just like a tidy up. It's not something that I have to do. So that's basically all I would need to do for this one. If yours is looking like mostly dead sticks, then you could come and cut it back the way we did the other one. So cut it back to like 2 or 3 buds, and then it will reflush out. The next one I'm going to show you is what to do with like a new clematis, so one that's only been in the ground for like a year or so. Okay, so I'm here by the pond. I had to turn off we have like a little bubbly fountain, and it sounds amazing, but I was worried that that's all you were going to be hearing on the mic. We had a little bit of a frost yesterday, but I don't know, the bubbles like seem to like melt the water quicker maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we have this baby clematis that was a gift from my in-laws. I think it was a birthday present from last year. And so this one's been in the ground for a year, and generally when you buy a clematis, pretty much any type of clematis, it'll have like 1 or 2, maybe 3 if you're lucky, strands coming out of the pot. So I've read that it's recommended that the first year, no matter what type, cut it back in the spring, and that'll give it like a bushier foundation, so that if you wanted to fill a trellis or something, then there's like maybe 5 or 6 stems coming from the ground or near the ground, instead of 3 that will always look like a little wispy. If you're going for that look, that's cool too. So for this one, I can see that there's a really strong bud over here, so I can cut like right above it. And then I see this one has like a couple really strong buds, so I'll cut there. But I'm actually noticing that just above it is actually dead already, but it is holding on to the trellis, so I might just leave it. And then this one here, I'll cut back maybe by 1. So yeah, not a huge tidy up. Like the only part I'm basically taking off is this part here. This one is a group 3 clematis, so this would be the right time to do it, but even if it wasn't, this will help it get bushier. And then something to remember, like the very first one that I cut on the other side was really vigorous. It was a really established plant, so no matter what, it's just gonna like shoot straight up. It doesn't need as much support, but a really young plant like this will need more support. So I have this like piece of kind of chain link type material that I've just attached to the back of the tree, because a clematis can only wrap around something that's about, I think up to I can't remember if it's an inch or a centimeter. Maybe it's a centimeter. They like canes or like kind of thinner materials to climb. Like it can't really climb this because it can't attach itself. The only way it can attach is by hooking its leaves together or wrapping a leaf or something around. Like it doesn't have tendrils. So anyway, so having like a little support structure for a really young plant like this is great. So I'll probably leave this in for a couple more years until it's really big and established. And this one has like really pretty kind of pale blue flowers that play up really nicely against the kind of red burgundy of the maple. So once it's really big, we'll get like a flush of flowers in the tree every summer. And then as far as group 1 clematis, I don't actually have any, so I can't really show you, but because those ones bloom the earliest, you definitely don't want to prune those this time of year. And I have a feeling that with those, like whenever I've seen them kind of the top of a fence or something like that, it seems like people kind of leave them. Maybe you'd give it like a gentle trim or shaping after it's bloomed. But yeah, I think that's kind of the one. Group 1 and 2, I think, are the ones that kind of need the least pruning. unless you're shaping them. So I'll keep you updated as they start to shoot up and then start to bloom eventually. But thanks for coming along for this little clematis trimming tour, and I'll catch you next time.